In the heart of bustling Rome, over 2,000 years ago, there walked a man who faced adversity as if it were merely the dust beneath his sandals. His name was Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and the most powerful emperor of his time. Yet despite his status, he wasn't immune to life's trials and tribulations, famines, wars, and personal loss. He faced them all with a composure that seemed almost superhuman. How, you might ask? The answer lies in the core principles of Stoicism, but let's bring this into our modern world. Imagine you're standing in the pouring rain. Your car has just broken down, and you're late for an important meeting. Your instinct might be to let frustration take the driver's seat, to let the storm within match the one outside. Yet, what if I told you, like Aurelius, you could remain calm amidst the chaos? This is not a tale of ancient times or unreachable legends, but a testament to the power of the Stoic mindset, a mindset that you too can cultivate. So, what is Stoicism, and how can it transform your mindset to conquer life's challenges? It's more than just an ancient philosophy. It's a practical toolkit for navigating the unpredictable seas of life. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot, to distinguish between the two with wisdom, and to approach life's obstacles not just with resilience, but with a sense of tranquility and empowerment. In today's video, we will delve into the transformative power of Stoicism. We'll explore how its time-tested strategies can help you build mental fortitude, maintain emotional balance, and turn every challenge into an opportunity for personal growth. Whether you're faced with minor daily hassles or life-altering events, Stoicism has the potential to revolutionize your mindset. So join me on this journey into Stoicism, as we uncover the secrets that can not only change how you think, but also how you live. It's time to take the wisdom of the ancients and apply it to our modern challenges. Get ready to emerge more resilient, more content, and more in control. Let's begin. As we dive into the definition of Stoicism, let's strip away the cobwebs of time and give it a modern twist. Picture Stoicism as the Yoda of philosophical teachings, small but mighty, offering sage advice that can save us from the dark side of our own reactions. It's like having a mental Swiss Army knife, always ready to help you navigate through the forest of life's unpredictabilities. Now, if Stoicism had a LinkedIn profile, it would list its skills as resilience, adaptability, and rationality. Imagine Stoicism at a networking event, calmly sipping water while others are downing shots of panic and overreaction. Stoicism doesn't just keep its cool, it teaches us how to freeze, frame our emotional responses, and choose how to act rather than simply react. Think of the calm, collected demeanor of characters like Spock from Star Trek. Stoicism embodies that same unflappable nature, encouraging us not to be devoid of emotions, but to understand them from a logical standpoint. It's about seeing life as a chess game where we can't control every move, but we can strategize our next step with foresight and precision. In a world that's constantly shouting, Stoicism whispers, reminding us that while we can't control the plot twists, like a sudden cliffhanger in your favorite TV series, we can definitely control our response to them. It's about directing our internal narrative with the calm and collected focus of a Jedi, no matter how epic the space battle gets. But let's get real. Stoicism isn't about becoming an emotionless robot. It's like that cool friend who doesn't get ruffled when someone cuts the line at the coffee shop, or when their favorite character gets written off the show. They're the one with that knowing half smile, aware that getting worked up won't change the script, but will definitely spoil their enjoyment of the show. So there you have it. Stoicism, a philosophy that's as relevant in the age of Twitter storms and viral trends as it was in the times of gladiatorial battles and togas. It's not just about enduring life's downpours, but about learning how to dance in the rain with the grace of a ballet dancer and the joy of a child who's found a puddle to splash in. It's the ultimate behind the scenes pass to mastering your emotions and living a life of purpose, no matter what the critics or life itself might throw at you. With this light-hearted take on what Stoicism really means, you're now equipped with a clearer picture and perhaps even a smirk on your face, because Stoicism isn't just profound, it can be fun too. As we continue with our exploration, keep in mind this ancient, yet so modern philosophy might just be the life coach you didn't know you needed. Stay tuned as we next unveil the Stoic's guide to wielding the power of perception and making the most out of the twists and turns on the road of life. And as we're about to see, Stoicism isn't a solo act. It's more like a supergroup of intellectual rock stars. Each philosopher brings their own flavor to the mix. Take Seneca, for example. If Seneca were around today, he'd be the guy with a Twitter feed full of mic-drop wisdom and motivational threads. He'd post selfies with captions like "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality," sparking thousands of retweets from people vowing to stop their catastrophic what-if thinking. Now imagine Seneca in a modern office setting. Someone spills coffee on the server and chaos ensues. While everyone else is freaking out, there's Seneca, cool as a cucumber, reminding everyone that it's not the spilled coffee that's the disaster, but their reaction to it. He's the colleague who, instead of joining the panic, posts a witty but wise sticky note on the fridge that reads, "No amount of anxiety makes any difference to anything that is going to happen." Then there's Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king who would probably have a podcast today where he calmly discusses how to be a good leader in a bad situation. Picture him during a traffic jam, not angrily honking, but instead recording voice memos for his next episode on the art of patience in a world of instant gratification. Marcus wouldn't just narrate the problem, he'd offer solutions. His calming voice through your speakers would say, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." He'd be that one friend who, while everyone is losing their minds over a cancelled flight, sits there reading a book, occasionally glancing up to remind you, "Remember, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." He's the embodiment of poise in the eye of the social media hurricane, the one who practices do not disturb mode, not just on his phone, but in his life. But let's not forget about Epictetus, the ex-slave turned philosopher who would definitely be running a no-nonsense YouTube channel, dishing out Stoic life hacks. His videos titled, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters," would rack up views for their sheer blunt charm. In the modern world, Epictetus would be the viral sensation known for snapping us back to reality when we're about to make mountains out of molehills. Imagine Epictetus as your gym trainer, pushing you to lift heavier with each session. As you struggle with the weight, he'd lean in and utter, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." And just like that, you're pumping iron with the strength of 10 gladiators, because Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's about action. So there we have it, the Stoic trifecta. Seneca, the social media sage, Marcus Aurelius, the podcasting emperor, and Epictetus, the straight-talking trainer. Together, they form the ultimate ancient guide squad, making Stoicism accessible one clever quip at a time. But as we chuckle at these anachronistic visions of Stoic philosophers in our modern world, the underlying truths they share remain as powerful as ever. As we move forward, we'll delve deeper into their teachings, sharpening our mental toolkit and uncovering the profound impact their wisdom can have on our lives today. After all, Stoicism isn't just about learning to endure life's storms. It's about setting sail with confidence, knowing you have the compass of the ancients guiding you through. Next up, we'll learn how to apply their timeless strategies to avoid common pitfalls in our day-to-day lives and remain steadfast in pursuit of our goals. Stay with me as we turn their ancient wisdom into your modern-day superpower. Modern-day Stoics. They walk among us, some in the limelight, others in quiet corners of daily life, embodying the zenith of Stoic philosophy without the marble statues. Let's tour the gallery of contemporary figures who exemplify Stoicism, and while we're at it, indulge in a few playful what-if dramatizations to paint these heroes in the Stoic light. First up, envision the animated dynamism of Elon Musk, who, despite the roller coaster of the stock market and the scrutiny of the public eye, approaches each entrepreneurial endeavor with a blend of rationality and vision. Picture Musk in a bustling spaceport, pre-launch chaos unfolding around him. He pauses, reflects, and in a move that Seneca would tweet about, he simply adjusts the trajectory, steadies his gaze on Mars, and forges ahead. Not a man swayed by fear, but driven by a Stoic resolve. Now, transpose this to a world where Musk tweets not just plans for space, but also snippets of Stoic wisdom. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Imagine the SpaceX rockets as more than machines, but metaphors for Stoic tenacity, blasting through the atmosphere of doubt with the fuel, discipline, and composure. Switching gears to the quiet resolve of Malala Yousafzai, a living testament to the Stoic spirit. Faced with violence and oppression, she stands as a resolute advocate for education and women's rights. Imagine Malala in the halls of the United Nations, not as a victim of her circumstances, but as a victor over them, channeling Marcus Aurelius as she addresses the assembly with poise and purpose, reminding us that the best response to injustice is not anger but action. Delve into the realms of sport, and there you'll find the stoicism of athletes like Serena Williams. On the tennis court, we witness not just a game of skill but a manifestation of Stoic principles. Even as the scoreboard wavers, Serena remains a pillar of focus and determination. In a parallel universe, she might be penning a blog series candidly discussing Epictetus's notion, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters," as she narrates her journey through victories and defeats. Consider for a moment the calm amid the storm portrayed by figures like President Barack Obama. Amidst political whirlwinds and the cacophony of public opinion, Obama often displayed a demeanor that whispered stoicism. Imagine his memoirs depicting not just a political trajectory but a Stoic journal, passages echoing with change is inevitable, progress is optional. In the world of literature, conjure the image of J.K. Rowling, whose path from struggling single mother to best-selling author wasn't just a tale of magic but one of Stoic endurance. She might tell you over a cup of butterbeer, "Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life," a sentiment Epictetus would proudly endorse. But Stoicism doesn't solely reside in the exceptional. It's in the everyday actions of the nurse who keeps a cool head amidst the chaos of the ear, or the teacher who shapes young minds not through authority but through the wisdom of self-control and acceptance. And therein lies our playful dramatization, a world where these modern Stoics not only practice virtue but also tweet, blog, and speak it into the collective consciousness. They remind us that Stoicism is not confined to the annals of history, but is alive, thriving, and as applicable today as ever. To close this section, let's carry with us the image of these modern-day Stoics. They are the unsung philosophers of our time, the ones who demonstrate that applying Stoic principles can lead to triumph and serenity, irrespective of the era we live in. So, as we set the stage for the next segment of our exploration into Stoicism, remember, it's not about emulating these figures, but about recognizing the Stoic sage within each of us, waiting to navigate life's tumultuous waters with equanimity and grace. Stay tuned as we next dive into practical Stoic exercises that will empower you to join the ranks of these modern-day masters of resilience. As we continue our exploration, let us unfurl the map of Stoicism further and delve into its core principles. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lie four guiding virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Together, they provide the framework for a life well lived, according to the Stoics. Let's break these down with relatable examples, creating a clear path for you to follow in their footsteps. Wisdom, in the Stoic sense, is the art of navigating life with sound judgment. It's the knowledge of what is good, what is bad, and what is indifferent. Imagine you're scrolling through social media and you come across a heated argument in the comments section. The wise Stoic in you knows that engaging in the argument will not change the other person's mind and will only disturb your peace. So, you take a breath and scroll on. Wisdom tells you that your time is better spent on things within your power, like your reaction and how you choose to spend your energy. Then there's courage, the virtue that propels us to face life's adversities head-on. It's not just about bravery on the battlefield, but about the moral courage to stand up for what's right, even when it's difficult. Picture yourself in a work meeting where you witness an unfair dismissal of a co-worker's idea because of their junior status. The courage of a Stoic would prompt you to speak up, to give credit where it's due, and to ensure a just outcome, regardless of the personal risks it might entail. Justice in Stoicism isn't just about legal fairness, but concerns the right treatment of others through kindness, benevolence, and the consideration of the common good. Imagine you find a wallet on the street packed with cash. The just action, the Stoic action, is to return it to its rightful owner, knowing that the integrity of your character is worth far more than any sum of money. Lastly, we have temperance, the virtue of self-restraint and moderation. It's the ability to say no to excess and yes to the golden mean. Let's say you're at a buffet and every dish is calling your name. Temperance whispers not to be swayed by immediate gratification, but to enjoy the pleasures of the table while respecting the limits of what your body needs. And so you partake with enjoyment, but without overindulgence. Now, how can these virtues translate into everyday life? Consider them as a set of tools with which to build your character. Wisdom is your decision-making compass. Courage is your shield against adversity. Justice is your scale for fairness. And temperance is the reins that keep your impulses in check. By embracing wisdom, you accept that while you cannot control the arrival of a thunderstorm, you can control the setup of your sails. With courage, you choose to face that thunderstorm head-on, knowing that every wave you navigate through strengthens your ship. Justice is the course you chart, one that avoids the reckless endangerment of other sailors. And temperance, it ensures that your sails are not too boldly unfurled to catch too much wind and capsize your vessel. Stoicism, with these four virtues, gives you a formidable set of principles to steer by. And it might not be all plain sailing. There will be times when the storm clouds appear relentless and the waves feel overwhelming. But remember, just like our modern-day Stoics, it is the constant practice of these virtues that will fortify your resolve and refine your character. In our next segment, we shall take these four virtues and transform them into actionable strategies, creating a Stoic plan of action that will empower you to thrive amidst life's challenges. Stick with me as we embark on turning philosophical insights into a robust toolkit for your everyday life. As our sails catch the gusts of Stoic wisdom, we approach the celebrated concept known as the dichotomy of control. This principle slices through the fog of daily life, distinguishing what is within our power from what is beyond it. And what better way to visualize this than with engaging graphics and animations that bring clarity to this profound tenet. Visual aid starts, depicting two columns labeled in our control and out of our control, with animated icons representing various aspects of life. In the column labeled in our control, icons begin to populate the space: your beliefs, your judgments, your attitude towards events. An icon of a smiling figure adjusts their tie, symbolizing self-presentation. Another depicts a brain, signifying opinions and ideas. As you watch these icons gather, you're reminded that the realm of control is rich with personal responsibility. Transition to the out of our control column, where rain clouds, a spinning globe, and a clock appear. Now, let's shift to the other side. A rain cloud drifts into view next to our column, a stark symbol of the weather, an uncontrollable external. A globe spins, representing world events that exceed our grasp. A clock ticks away, epitomizing time itself, all illustrating aspects of life that no amount of worry can influence. An interactive touch appears, allowing the viewer to drag and drop various life aspects into the two columns. But here's where you, the viewer, get involved. Imagine you're handed the power to drag and drop icons representing aspects of your life into these columns. An icon of a traffic jam goes where? Into the out of our control column, naturally. What about how you respond to that traffic jam? That icon firmly belongs in the column of in our control. Animations highlight the interplay between our internal reactions and external events. This graphic dance of icons highlights a critical interaction. External events trigger internal reactions, but it's in the space between where Stoicism plants its flag. The animation now shows a brain icon, faced with various external symbols: a dollar sign, a news headline, a family photo. With each, the brain responds, sometimes with serenity, other times with stress. But a gentle nudge, and each stressful response is replaced with a stoic smile, a visual cue of choosing a controlled reaction over an uncontrolled 1. Conclude with a powerful graphic summarizing the dichotomy of control. As we bring this segment to a close, the two columns fuse into an enlightening graphic, a steering wheel overlaid with a stormy sea and a clear sky. It's a potent reminder that while you cannot calm the stormy sea of life, you do command the wheel of your ship, your actions, your choices, your perspectives. So as this animation fades and the next part of our Stoic journey beckons, carry with you the vivid images of control and let go of the illusion that we can steer the waves themselves. Keep your hands steady on the wheel of what you command and let the sea rage as it will. Stay with me as we next navigate towards making the dichotomy of control not just a concept but a daily practice. It is here, in the application of this wisdom, that the true art of living stoically comes alive. As we embrace the Stoic journey, let's embark on a playful thought experiment, manipulating perspective through quirky hypothetical situations. Imagine, if you will, a world where the streets are filled with people wearing glasses of different tints: rose, gray, blue, green, each seeing the world through their own colored lens. Now, picture yourself receiving a pair of these glasses. The lens is a vibrant hue of your choice. As you slip them on, the world transforms. The rosy glasses paint everyday obstacles with a hue of optimism. That daunting project at work suddenly seems like an adventure. The gray lenses, however, cast a shadow of gloom, transforming the same project into a Sisyphean task, an endless boulder to heave uphill. In this animated thought experiment, we see individuals bumping into each other, their perceptions clashing. One wearing blue lenses is calm, like the ocean, unfazed by the chaos of a missed bus. Another, staring through green, is irritated, believing the universe has conspired against them. Visual aid starts, showcasing a character swapping different colored glasses, each change painting the world in a new light. Our character and animated figure stands at a crossroads, changing glasses, each shift in color altering the animation's ambiance. With the rosy tint, the crossroads are inviting, paths leading to unexpected treasures. Swap to gray, and the roads twist into intimidating unknown territory. Interactive moment allows the viewer to choose which glasses the character puts on. You, dear viewer, get to decide which glasses our character dons next. Will it be the optimistic rose or the daunting gray? The choice is yours, and as you click and select, the character's journey updates in real time, a playful demonstration of how perspective can shape our reality. Our character encounters a street performer, a jester juggling flaming torches, a metaphor for the trials we juggle daily. Through rosy glasses, the jester's performance is awe-inspiring, a spectacle of skill and bravery. The gray lenses, however, paint the scene with risk and recklessness, the torches mere harbingers of potential disaster. Let's add a twist. Amidst this spectacle, a sudden downpour begins, the rain unrelenting. The jester adapts, now juggling umbrellas, an impressive pivot. Our character, their perspective switched to blue, watches unfazed, accepting the change with a serene smile. They've embraced the Stoic stance that the rain, like life's little curveballs, is beyond control, while the response remains firmly in their grasp. Yet another lens appears, this time clear as crystal. Our character dons them, and the world is seen in its unfiltered form. No shade of optimism or pessimism colors the view, just the raw reality of what is. The realization dawns. The glasses are but tools, aids to navigate the world, yet the true control lies within. Concluding graphic shows the character placing down all the glasses, choosing to view the world with their own eyes. The animation concludes with our character setting down all the glasses, choosing to face the world with the clarity of their own vision. The message is profound yet simple. While perspectives may vary, our reaction to the world's colors is the ultimate arbiter of our experience. As we draw this playful experiment to a close, let us reflect on how our perceptions form our reality. And as we move forward, remember that the Stoic practice of perspective is as much about shedding unnecessary tints as it is about selecting the right lens for the situation at hand. Join me as we move to the next segment, where we'll equip you with Stoic exercises to help you choose your lens wisely and respond to life's juggling gestures with equanimity and poise. As we pivot to our next chapter, let's traverse the corridors of history, invoking the spirit of Stoicism, to reframe past adversities as inspiring sagas of opportunity. Join me as we breathe a Stoic soul into some of history's most pivotal moments, illustrating the timelessness of turning obstacles into stepping stones. Cue upbeat background music to set an inspiring tone. Visual aid transitions to an animated scene of a dimly lit laboratory, where a figure hunched over countless experiments embodies perseverance. This is Thomas Edison, the embodiment of Stoic persistence. As the story goes, Edison faced numerous failures while inventing the light bulb, a whopping 10,000 attempts that refused to flicker to life. Yet, with each setback, he simply declared, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Imagine Edison armed with a Stoic mantra, each failed experiment not a defeat but a lesson, a mere redirection towards success. He stands undeterred, a smile of resolve playing on his lips, untold wisdom blossoming from each unsuccessful trial. The modern Stoic whispers cheerfully, "What stands in the way becomes the way." And so Edison continues, his failures paving the path to a world bathed in electric light. Transition to a vibrant animation of a ship braving stormy seas. Sailing across the ocean of time, we encounter the formidable story of Ernest Shackleton and his legendary Antarctic expedition. When his ship, the Endurance, was imprisoned by ice, Shackleton's resolve was tested to the extremes. Yet, the Stoic spirit prevailed. He did not just endure, but orchestrated one of the most heroic survival stories ever told. Let's adorn Shackleton with the mantle of a Stoic captain, his eyes alight with the flame of fortitude. Faced with the coldest of fates, he rallies his crew, not with dismay, but with the optimistic vigor of a man who sees opportunity in every iceberg. "Our destiny is in our own hands," he'd declare, with a Seneca-like wit, turning what could have been a tragic end into an epic of resilience and ingenuity. It's a dance with destiny, as every chilling setback is met with the warmth of unyielding hope and strategic action. Animated images of a divided Berlin, a wall separating east from west. Next, our narrative alights upon the Cold War's iconic symbol, the Berlin Wall. For decades, it stood not just as a barrier of concrete, but as a division of ideologies, a physical obstacle embodying broader societal strife. Yet, Stoicism whispers through the cracks, offering a perspective of unity and the power of collective will. Picture the East and West Berliners, their hearts entwined by a Stoic thread, viewing the wall not as an eternal divide, but as a challenge to overcome. And when the wall fell, it was more than demolition. It was the triumph of human spirit, the manifestation of a shared vision that looked beyond the obstacle to the opportunity of reunification. That powerful moment, a visual crescendo, resonates with the Stoic belief that even walls of the mightiest strength can be crumbled by the persistent drip of hope and human connection. Upbeat music rises, and the scene shifts to a bustling stock market floor. In the throes of the stock market's maelstrom, let us not forget the crash of 1929, a financial tsunami that left many in despair. Yet for some, it was the clarion call to Stoic composure and long-term vision. Investors like Benjamin Graham turned the market's tumult into a teachable moment, transforming economic rubble into the foundations of value. Investing. Visualize Graham, amidst the frenzied ticker tape, as a Stoic sage, his gaze not clouded by the fog of panic, but cleared by the lens of rational foresight. In the face of economic adversity, he espoused, the intelligent investor is a realist who sells to optimists and buys from pessimists, leveraging the ebb and flow of fortune to sow the seeds of a robust financial philosophy that thrives to this day. Animation comes to a close, leaving behind a mosaic of Stoic triumphs. As the upbeat music fades and we reflect on these narratives, let's anchor ourselves in the profound Stoic realization that every historical obstacle surmounted has been a testament to opportunity harnessed. It's the alchemy of turning leaden hardships into golden chances, a narrative thread woven throughout the tapestry of time. And so, my fellow modern Stoics, as we prepare to pen the next pages of our lives, let the tales of Edison, Shackleton, the Berliners, and Graham infuse us with the verve to see the hurdles before us, not as insurmountable walls, but as gateways to untold possibilities. Stay tuned, for in the next segment, we will transition from the realm of inspiration to the practical domain, equipping you with Stoic strategies to transform your personal challenges into fortuitous adventures. Ready your sails for a Stoic voyage that will chart a course through the waters of opportunity to the shores of fulfillment and beyond. As we navigate the terrain of daily life, it's often our emotional responses that determine the outcome of any situation. In this light, let's craft a series of skits, each a playful vignette showcasing the triumphs of emotional resilience in the face of everyday frustrations. Scene opens on a bustling city street. A character, whom we'll call Alex, is seen calmly waiting for a bus. The sign reads "Arriving in 3 minutes." Alex checks their watch and the sign, only to see the time change. Delayed 15 minutes. Around Alex, people grumble, a symphony of sighs and complaints. But Alex remains a picture of serenity, pulling out a book and losing themselves in ancient Stoic wisdom. Cut to a person next to Alex, growing more agitated, pacing and checking their phone constantly. Agitated person. Can you believe this? Every single day, it's a new delay. Alex, without looking up from their book. It's all about perspective. The bus isn't late. We're just early. The agitated person blinks, a chuckle escaping their lips. Cut to Alex offering a spare book, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. The scene fades as they begin to read together, the bustle around them fading into the background. Scene transitions to an office where a printer is jammed. The character at the helm, Sam, is on the brink of a full-blown temper tantrum. Papers are strewn about, and the printer flashes an inscrutable error message. Sam, muttering, "Of all days, why today?" Enter Taylor, a colleague with a known penchant for Stoic calm. Taylor with a mischievous grin. "What's this? A test of patience devised by the gods." Sam, exasperated. "Don't start with that Stoicism stuff now, Taylor." Taylor, unfazed, opens the printer and begins to carefully remove the jammed paper. Taylor, "Remember, Sam, the printer isn't the enemy. It's the indifference to the instructions that is our true adversary." As Taylor fixes the printer, Sam takes a deep breath, the tension in their shoulders easing. Sam. "All right, Seneca. What's the lesson here?" Taylor, handing over the perfectly printed document. "That even a mundane hurdle can be an exercise in tranquility, my friend." Laughter echoes as the camera pans out, showing a now working printer and two colleagues sharing a light-hearted moment. Next, we move to a kitchen where a smoke alarm blares. Jamie stands amid a culinary disaster, their dinner burnt to a crisp. The smoke alarm continues its relentless shriek, Jamie flapping a towel at the alarm. "Oh, come on. It's just a bit of char." Their sibling, Jordan, enters the frame, a knowing twinkle in their eyes. Jordan. "Ah, the sweet serenade of a Stoic dinner." Jamie, through clenched teeth. "Very funny." Jordan, gesturing to the charred meal. "Epictetus would be proud, Jamie. A true Stoic feast. Simple and modest." Jamie can't help but laugh, and apparently meant to build character. They turn off the alarm, and together they start to prepare a new meal, the charred past behind them. Jordan, "Let's remember, it's not the flame of the stove, but the fire of our spirit that truly cooks the meal." Jamie rolls their eyes but smiles, embracing the chaos with newfound humor. We wrap with a universal scenario, the lost keys dance. Chris is frantically searching for their keys, cushions in the air, drawers ajar, the classic prelude to a meltdown. Chris, growing more frantic. "Where are they? This is ridiculous." Their roommate, Pat, enters, observing the chaos with an amused, stoic composure. "Pat, seeking something, Chris?" Chris, half laughing, half crying. "My keys and my sanity." Pat, kneeling to help. "Remember, our beloved Stoics say that tranquility is not the absence of the storm, but peace amidst it." Chris, taking a deep breath. "Okay, Marcus, guide me to the eye of this hurricane. Together, They methodically retrace steps. Lo and behold, the keys are found in the refrigerator, next to the milk. Pat, grinning, a cool place to keep your keys, and your head. They share a hearty laugh as the screen fades, the lesson of finding calm in the tempest clear. As these vignettes show, emotional resilience isn't about suppressing feelings, but rather about choosing our reactions with care and a dash of humor. By embracing Stoic principles, we discover that the frustrations of everyday life become less about the challenges themselves and more about the opportunities they present for growth and laughter. Next, we'll progress from these amusing anecdotes to the more profound applications of Stoicism in times of significant personal upheaval. Stay with us as we explore how to apply emotional resilience to life's biggest storms, ensuring that our Stoic ship remains steadfast and joyful, no matter the strength of the winds. As we pivot from the whimsical world of skits to the corridors of practical wisdom, let's take a lighthearted yet insightful look at how to make wise decisions, Stoic style. Buckle up for a tongue-in-cheek tutorial that may just change the way you tackle life's crossroads. Picture a character, let's call her Zoe, standing before a grand decision-making machine, levers and buttons aglow. Zoe, with a playful grin. Welcome to the Decisionator 3000, the latest in Stoic decision-making technology. She pulls a lever marked situation analysis and a chart appears in the air, holographic and interactive. Zoe, first up, we assess the situation. Is it a me problem or an it problem? If it's as in beyond my control, no lever pulling required. The it problems dissolve away. The chart now focused solely on the mean problems. Zoe, tapping on the screen. Now we're left with the variables we can control. Time to consult our inner Stoic guru. She places a whimsical hat on her head, adorned with the faces of Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus. Zoe, channeling Seneca. Is this matter trivial or truly significant? Seneca's spectacles help us see past the smoke and mirrors of petty concerns. A pair of glasses float onto the screen, dismissing minor issues with a puff of smoke. Zoe, donning the aura of Marcus Aurelius. If it's significant, let Marcus's musing mirror reflect on our past experiences. Have we tackled something like this before? A looking glass reveals a montage of past triumphs and lessons learned. Zoe, with Epictetus's energy. Finally, with the essence of Epictetus, we distill the problem to its core. What can be acted upon, right here, right now? A vial pours a liquid light over the decision chart, highlighting actionable steps. Zoe, clapping her hands with glee. And there we have it. The Decisionator has spoken. Not so much an oracle of Delphi, but a reminder that, at its heart, Stoic wisdom is practical, actionable, and hands-on. She presses a big button marked Action, tss, and the machine hums to life, producing a clear path forward. Zoe, with a wink. Now that we've consulted the Decisionator 3000, it's time for the real magic, taking action. Remember, Stoicism isn't about being passive. It's about actively steering your ship through the straits of life with reason as your compass and virtue as your North Star. She salutes the camera, her hat tipping with the flourish of her hand. Zoe, so go on. Embrace that Stoic flair when faced with decisions, big and small. Trust in your capacity to reason, your experience, and your ability to act. And watch as the seemingly tangled threads of dilemma unravel before you. With a confident stride, Zoe walks off, camera, the Decisionator powering down with a satisfied whir. As we wrap up this playful tutorial, let's tuck away the lightheartedness without losing the profound truth hidden within the humor. Stoic practical wisdom is about clarity, about separating the wheat from the chaff, and about taking thoughtful, purposeful action. Now, as we gear up for the next enlightening chapter in our Stoic saga, remember Zoe and her Decisionator 3000, because even the most sophisticated problem solving can benefit from a touch of whimsy and a whole lot of wisdom. Stay tuned for our upcoming exploration into how Stoic wisdom can help you cultivate inner peace in the digital age. an era of constant connection. But Marcus Aurelius might say calls for a healthy dose of digital temperance and some very wise clicking. Our scene opens to an outlandish set, a parody playground where iconic cinematic moments are flipped on their heads, all to showcase the might of Stoic courage. Let's roll the film on some of history's bravest heroes, reimagined as Stoics standing tall against the tides of fortune. Cut to a parody of the Braveheart battle scene with William Wallace standing before his troops. Our Wallace, with blue paint smeared across his face, raises his hand not to signal the charge, but to signal a pause. His eyes ablaze not with rage, but with the fiery calm of a stoic resolve. Wallace, played by an actor with an over-the-top accent. They may take our lives, but they can never take our rational choice to respond with dignity. The soldiers lower their weapons, nodding in agreement, a bagpipe version of the Stoic hymn playing softly in the background. Transition to a spoof of Titanic, as Jack and Rose stand at the ship's bow. Rose, her arms spread wide, feels the wind in her hair. Jack stands behind her, a serene look upon his face. Jack chuckling, "I'm flying, sure, but isn't it more about sailing through life's chaos with emotional fortitude?" Rose giggling, "Oh, Jack, you stoic sailor, you." They both maintain their composure, even as a CG iceberg looms in the distance. Next, we jump into a Rocky parody. Rocky Balboa is in the boxing ring, gloves up, but his opponent isn't another fighter. It's his own impulsive reactions. Rocky, pumping his fists. In slow motion, it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how wisely you choose your battles, you know? The crowd cheers, throwing philosophical essays into the ring instead of punches. And now, a send-up of the Lord of the Rings. Frodo and Sam face the fires of Mount Doom. Frodo, his face strained with the weight of the ring, turns to Sam. "Frodo, I can't carry the ring for you, but I can carry the wisdom of Epictetus, who said we should bear what we cannot change." Sam, nodding wisely, "And that's a burden even Smeagol couldn't corrupt." Together, they toss the ring into the lava with a nod to stoic indifference toward external power. Our final scene satirizes Avengers Endgame. Captain America stands alone before Thanos' army. Captain America, tightening his shield strap. "I can do this all day, because it's not about winning or losing. It's about standing firm in the face of adversity. Right, Seneca?" He flashes a heroic grin, and the enemy soldiers pause, contemplating their life choices. A self-help book suddenly more appealing than the Infinity Stones. As our parody reel comes to a close, we can't help but chuckle at the stoic bravery on display. These movie scenes turned on their heads remind us that courage is not just about bold actions and battle cries, but about the quiet strength it takes to face life's dramas with a stoic heart. So, as the credits roll on our comedic homage to stoic courage, take with you the image of these reimagined heroes, not storming into battle but standing resolute with the armor of reason and the shield of tranquility. Up next, we'll switch gears from the mighty to the mundane, examining how stoic courage can be summoned in the most ordinary of circumstances, becoming the unsung hero of your daily narrative. Scene opens with a bustling cityscape, citizens going about their daily lives. In the midst of the crowd, a figure draped in a toga-like cape stands watchfully. This is our mock superhero, Justitia, the embodiment of stoic justice in action. Justitia, voice over. In a world often blindsided by iniquity, I am the watchful eye. I am Justitia, not a vigilante of vengeance, but a guardian of fairness, a champion of the common good. Cut to a scene of a young man being unfairly reprimanded by his boss in front of co-workers. Justitia steps out of the shadows, her presence commanding yet calming. Justitia, "Sir, your words weigh heavy upon the scales of justice. Might we tip the balance back with understanding and constructive guidance, rather than public reproach?" The boss, taken aback, nods sheepishly and takes the young man aside, offering a genuine apology and a promise to discuss matters privately in the future. Cue upbeat, triumphant music as we transition to a playground where children are arguing over a game. Justitia, with a genial smile, approaches and kneels to their level. Justitia, little philosophers, remember, justice is not only in the outcome, but in how we treat one another during the game. Let fairness be your playmate, and may the best sportsperson win. The children's faces brighten, and with a hearty fair play, they resume their game, this time with a handshake and shared laughter. The scene shifts to a town hall meeting, where community members are in a heated debate over the allocation of local resources. Justitia stands at the back, observing. Justitia, voiceover. The heart of Stoic justice beats, not through the gavel's pound, but through the respectful voices of its citizens, each a thread woven into the fabric of society. Justitia steps forward, addressing the assembly with both warmth and authority. Justitia, fellow stewards of our community, let's not forget the Stoic creed. To act justly is to consider not just individual desire, but the welfare of the whole. Let us find a solution that reflects our collective virtue. The room falls silent, the atmosphere shifting from divisive to collaborative. Suggestions are now offered with the intent of shared benefit, and a fair plan is crafted, greeted by nods and mutual respect. Our final vignette finds Justitia amidst a throng of protesters and policymakers at a rally. The air is charged with tension, but Justitia's demeanor is a beacon of equanimity. Justitia, raising her voice to be heard over the clamor. Hark, me, advocates and legislators. True justice is not won through the loudest shout, but through the bridge of dialogue. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, mankind are made for each other. Either teach them better or bear with them. The crowd quiets, reflecting on her words. A dialogue begins, not of adversaries, but of individuals, striving towards a common goal. Policymakers and protesters alike are drawn into a deeper conversation, seeking solutions rooted in equity and understanding. Justitia steps back into the shadows, her mission of the day fulfilled. The camera pans up to the sky as her voice over concludes our segment. Justitia, voiceover. Whether in the grand arena of public discourse or the intimate realm of personal interaction, Stoic justice calls us to elevate the collective good above the clamor of ego. It is not by wielding the sword of dominance, but by extending the olive branch of fairness, that we build a society reflective of our noblest aspirations. Cut to Justitia standing atop a city building at dusk, her toga cape billowing in the wind, the silhouette of Lady Justice's scales faintly visible in the skyline. Justitia. So remember, my friends, in each of us lies the power to dispense justice, not through superhuman feats, but through everyday acts of fairness and benevolence. Till our paths cross again in the quest for a just world, I am Justitia, your Stoic sentinel. Fade to black, as the triumphant music swells and a quote by Seneca appears. Treat your inferiors as you would be treated by your betters. The screen then transitions to the next segment, promising more Stoic adventures to come. Scene opens in a brightly lit modern kitchen set. We see our host, Julia, dressed in a chef's attire with a toga apron, standing next to a table filled with an abundance of ingredients. The camera zooms in as cheerful music plays in the background. Julia, with a theatrical flourish of her spatula. Welcome, culinary citizens of the Stoic kitchen, to temperance, the flavor of life. I'm your host, Julia. And today, we're cooking up a storm of restraint and balance. Audience applause as Julia winks at the camera. Julia, continuing. In today's episode, we're stirring the pot on overindulgence, simmering down desires and garnishing our lives with just the right pinch of self-control. So, grab your toga and let's get philosophical about food. She turns to a table brimming with a wide variety of extravagant foods, meats, sweets, lavish cakes, and exotic fruits. Julia, now you might think this is the part where I tell you to throw all caution to the wind and indulge. But no, this is where we exhibit the Stoic virtue of temperance. We're not about feasting to the point of folly. We're about savoring the subtleties of satisfaction. She picks up a grotesquely large burger and shakes her head theatrically. Julia, in a mock, serious tone. This, my friends, is what we call a hedonist's delight, a monument to extravagance. It may bring a moment of pleasure followed by a lifetime on the hips. And if Epictetus were here, he'd wag his finger and remind us, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. She sets the burger aside and picks up a modest yet delicious-looking sandwich. Julia, voila, the moderation morsel. Just the right amount of nourishment for the body and the soul. You see, the key to the Stoic diet is enjoying each bite with mindfulness and gratitude, recognizing when we've had just enough to fuel our virtue, not our vice. A graphic pops up showing a balanced scale with food on one side and a Greek column representing virtue on the other. Julia, gesturing to the graphic. Now, our Stoic scale here is all about balance. Too little, and we starve the body. Too much, and we bloat the ego. Let's aim for the golden mean, a place where neither hunger nor gluttony rules the roost, but rather reason presides over the dining table. She then turns to a new section of the counter, where decadent desserts are displayed next to simple, fresh fruits. Julia, picking up a slice of cake, then placing it back. Now, I know it's tempting to dive fork first into this sugary sea of temptation. But what would Seneca say? It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. So, lich in self-mastery and take a modest portion. She selects a small apple, polishes it on her toga apron, and takes a measured bite. Julia, speaking with gentle humor. In the Stoic kitchen, an apple a day doesn't just keep the doctor away, it keeps extravagance at bay. The camera pans over a perfect, but not excessive, meal prepared on a plate. Julia, concluding, there you have it, the ultimate Stoic recipe for a well-tempered life. It's not about denying yourself the flavors of the world, but about savoring them with discernment and delight. So, until next time, eat with moderation, laugh abundantly, and live stoically. The audience applauds as Julia takes a final approving look at her Stoic feast. Julia, join us next week on Temperance, the flavor of life, where we'll be whipping up a wisdom-infused snack. So light, it's almost Socratic. The screen fades out on Julia's twinkling eyes, and the array of balanced dishes as she waves goodbye, setting the stage for more Stoic culinary. Capers ahead, scene opens to the soft strum of a lute, birds chirping, and the first light of dawn peeking through a bedroom window. A figure, let's call him Theo, lies in bed, a book of Marcus Aurelius' meditations resting on his chest. An alarm clock buzzes, but instead of a jarring ring, it emits the soothing sounds of a gentle stream. Theo, fetching, and speaking with a calm, clear voice. Ah, a new day, an unwritten scroll in the annals of time, ready for the Stoic scribe to inscribe with acts of virtue. He sits up, greeting the day with a serene smile, then heads to a minimalist yet cozy home office. Theo, but first, our morning reflections for what is a Stoic without contemplation? A montage shows Theo journaling surrounded by images of Zeno, Cleanthes, and Chrysippus. Each entry begins with a Stoic quote, setting the tone for the day's mindset. Scene transitions to Theo in the kitchen, preparing breakfast. A small, wholesome meal sits before him, an embodiment of temperance. Theo, narrating with a playful tone. The Stoic breaks his fast, not with a feast fit for Dionysus, but with sustenance that fuels the mind as well as the body. As he eats, Theo reads from a book, nodding along to the text as if conversing with ancient philosophers. A clock on the wall shows the passage of time, with the hour hand moving in fast motion. A transition shows Theo stepping outside, a toga, theme, briefcase in hand. He pauses at the door, taking a deep breath. Theo, into the agora we venture, each interaction, a chance to practice justice, every challenge, an opportunity for courage. The neighborhood comes to life with a colorful cast of characters, each eliciting a Stoic response from Theo. A neighbor's dog barks fiercely, but Theo responds with a gentle pat and a quote from Seneca about the futility of anger. Theo commutes to work, portrayed as a whimsical chariot ride through modern traffic. He remains calm in a sea of honking and haste, embodying the tranquility of the Stoic charioteer. Theo, cheerfully to a fellow commuter. Rush not. as if to the Olympic Games, dear friend, but as one taking a leisurely stroll through the Lyceum. At the office, Theo encounters various workplace scenarios: a missing report, a crashed computer, an overbearing boss, all met with equanimity and measured responses. Theo, after the computer crash, smiling at a distressed colleague. Remember, it's not the crashing waves but the stability of our vessel that gets us to shore. Scene changes to Theo's lunch break. Instead of the cacophony of the office cafeteria, he finds tranquility in a nearby park, a simple meal and a copy of the Enchiridion in hand. Theo, to the audience, raising a sandwich. A Stoic's repast need not be grand, only enough to nourish the body for the soul's grander pursuits. As the workday concludes, Theo engages in acts of justice, helping a struggling co-worker after hours and exemplifying the Stoic commitment to the welfare of others. Theo, as he leaves the office under a twilight sky. The day's toil ends, but the Stoic's journey continues, a path paved with the stones of virtue and lit by the stars of wisdom. Our final scene shows Theo at home, unwinding with a bit of Stoic recreation. He chuckles at the irony of a board game named Fortuna's Wheel, playing with friends and family who share his appreciation for life's simple joys. Theo, during the game, as his piece lands on an unfortunate square, fortune turns her wheel, yet the Stoic player remains ever joyful, for within him lies the true prize, tranquility. The camera pulls back to show Theo's full day coming to a close, his routine a testament to the power of Stoic philosophy in everyday life. The soft strum of the lute returns as the day winds down, and Theo, with a book in hand, reclines, ready for restful sleep and the promise of another day lived with Stoic virtue. Theo, voice, over as the scene fades to black. As the constellations wheel overhead, the Stoic reflects on the day's lessons and looks to tomorrow with the anticipation of a philosopher, ready to greet each sunrise as an opportunity to live rightly, justly, and stoically. Fade out on Theo's contented silhouette as we prepare to venture into a new day of modern Stoicism in the next segment, where we will explore the philosophical exercises that keep the Stoic's mind sharp and spirit serene. Scene opens on a bustling city sidewalk. A larger-than-life hamster wheel looms in the center of the plaza, a human-sized hamster, let's call him Hank, running furiously in place. Onlookers watch in bemusement as Hank's efforts to reach the dangling carrot always fall short, no matter his speed. Narrator, voice, over with a touch of irony. Behold Hank, the human hamster, in his quest for perpetual pleasure. An exaggerated embodiment of the perilous pleasure treadmill, where satisfaction is ever elusive and desire is an insatiable beast. The camera zooms in to show Hank panting, sweat dripping, a look of desperation in his eyes as he reaches for the carrot that perpetually inches away. Narrator, poor Hank has fallen prey to hedonic adaptation, a sinister cycle where today's luxuries become tomorrow's necessities. Let's pause the wheel and ponder. How might a Stoic step off this relentless ride? The wheel grinds to a halt, and Hank steps off, looking dazed but relieved. Narrator, enter Helena, a modern-day Stoic who approaches life with contentment rather than constant craving. She strolls by Hank's halted wheel, sipping contentedly from a cup of water. Helena, offering the cup to Hank. Thirst quenched with simplicity, Hank. No need for the fanciest frappe adorned with gold leaf. Hank takes a sip, his expression softening with the realization of the simple pleasure derived from a mere cup of water. The scene transitions to a lavish mansion where an animated character, Richie Richardson, swims in a pool of cash. Yet, his face is not one of joy, but of boredom. Narrator, Richie Richardson, whose golden pool brings no more joy than a public swimming bath. His hedonic high water marked by adaptation, leaving him as numb to pleasure as to the cold coins he floats upon. Richie climbs out of the money pool, shivering, as Helena hands him a plain towel. Helena, Richie, a Stoic finds wealth not in excess but in the measured satisfaction of needs met and desires understood. Richie dries off, the simple towel bringing more comfort than his cold, hard cash. The scene shifts to a speedway where a character, Speedy Sam, races around in a sports car, each lap faster, but no more fulfilling than the last. Narrator, Speedy Sam, racing to outpace contentment, only to circle back to the starting line of satisfaction with each turbocharged turn. Helena waves a checkered flag, signaling Sam to stop. He exits the car, dizzy and disoriented. Helena. Sam, true joy isn't found in the blur of speed, but in the appreciation of the steady journey and the vistas along the way. Sam nods, now noticing the beauty of the landscape around the track, which had been a blur at high speeds. The camera returns to the plaza where Hank, Richie, and Sam stand beside Helena, looking thoughtful and perhaps a bit bewildered. Narrator. Our exaggerated friends here have seen the Stoic light, understanding that chasing pleasure is like chasing the horizon, always moving, never closer. Helena gestures to the simple things around them. A child laughing, trees rustling in the wind, a street musician playing a soulful tune. Helena. Fellows, the music of life isn't in chasing the next thrill. It's in finding rhythm in the everyday, in the chorus of ordinary moments that truly resonate when we pause to listen. As the street musician's melody fills the air, the trio smiles, finally sensing the richness and simplicity that Helena embodies. Narrator. Concluding with a sage tone, so let us step off the hedonic treadmill, my friends. Let's trade the pursuit of pleasure for the embrace of contentment. And remember, as our Stoic guide Helena has shown, the most profound joys often lie within life's simplest experiences. The scene fades to black with the sound of music lingering, leaving the audience to reflect on their own cycles of pleasure and contentment. The lesson of avoiding hedonic adaptation, illustrated through exaggerated humor, now clear. Contentment is a quiet celebration of the present, not a ravenous chase after the future. Stay with us, as in the next segment, we explore the Stoic art of gratitude, a practice that can anchor us firmly on the ground of contentment, keeping our desires in harmony with nature and our happiness truly in our own hands. Cue serene background music and visuals of gently drifting clouds across a clear blue sky. The camera then pans down to a tranquil garden setting where our guide, Philo, dressed in a toga with a hint of a Zen master's robe, sit cross-legged on a rock, a serene palm behind him. Philo, speaking with a tranquil voice that's just a touch too dramatic. Welcome, seekers of serenity, to Stoic mindfulness meditation. I'm Philo, your guide on this journey of inner tranquility and outer indifference. A whimsical graphic appears, illustrating the mind palaces with pillars of wisdom and gates of perception. Philo gestures to the graphic with a knowing smile. Philo, let us begin by entering the grand mind palace of Stoicism. Imagine its marble corridors, where each thought becomes a step towards enlightenment, or at least a step away from unnecessary stress. The peaceful music continues as the camera gently zooms in on a pair of marble busts, representing rational thought and emotional balance. Flanking the entrance to the mind palace, Philo, closing his eyes, inviting viewers to do the same. Close your eyes unless you're operating heavy machinery or making a shuffle that requires attention. Now, take a deep, calming breath in through your nose and release it out your mouth, as if softly whispering to Marcus Aurelius that you've borrowed his favorite toga and accidentally shrunk it. A cutaway shows an animated Marcus Aurelius looking baffled yet composed, despite his toga now fitting more like a tunic. Philo, continuing with gentle humor, with each breath, let go of things beyond your control. That email you accidentally sent, reply all. Let it float away on the wind of indifference. The long line at the coffee shop that made you late, release it down the river of acceptance. The visuals morph to show puffy thought, clouds drifting away and a little boat labeled worries floating down a placid stream out of sight. Philo, now as we delve deeper into our mindful meandering, visualize yourself walking through the Stoa, a porch where the Stoics of ancient times would discourse. Except in our version, it's lined with motivational posters featuring Stoic quotes and the occasional kitten clinging to a branch that says hang in there. The screen shows a delightful mix of Stoic wisdom and playful images, including a cat with the caption, I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul, and I really need to nap. Philo, a twinkle in his voice, As we stroll, reflect on the Stoic virtue of wisdom. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If a pigeon poops on the head of your statue, do you get mad? No, you contemplate the impermanence of pigeon digestion and clean it with a chuckle. An animated pigeon lands on Philo's shoulder, offering a cheeky wink to the viewers before the scene transitions back to him. I know. Seriously. Comical. Embrace the virtue of courage. Picture yourself as a brave, stoic squirrel gathering nuts for the winter of life's adversities. No matter how high the tree of challenges, climb it with the agility of reason and the nuts of fortitude. Camera zooms in on Philo's face, where his eyes crack open just enough to ensure everyone is taking this very seriously, or at least semi-seriously. Philo, continuing the whimsy. And now, on to justice. Imagine yourself balancing the scales. On one side, a feather representing fairness, and on the other, a pebble of prejudice. Now, replace that pebble with a candy because you realize it's not about the weight of the matter, but the sweetness of the outcome for all. The camera shows a set of scales teetering gently before settling into perfect harmony, the candy and feather lying side by side, depicting a stoic smile. Philo, bringing the meditation home. But the philosopher's portion, a nibble of nature, a smidgen of indulgence, and a bite-sized piece of pie because, well, it's pie. The final shot pans out to show Philo, now surrounded by squirrels in toga costumes, all meditating peacefully, a whimsical assortment of small plates with single servings before them. Philo, concluding with a deep, contented sigh. As we come to the end of our Stoic mindfulness meditation, gently open your eyes, stretch out any stiffness, and remember to face the day with a mindful mirth because, like Zeno clutching his figs, we navigate the market of life best when we hold our values lightly but firmly. The serene music fades as the camera pulls back, leaving viewers with a smile, enlightened by the gentle parody that is life, and a little more, prepared to face their own daily stoas with the calm of a stoic and the heart of a playful squirrel. Stay with us, as in the next segment, we explore the Stoic art of gratitude, a practice that can anchor us firmly on the ground of contentment, keeping our desires in harmony with nature and our happiness truly in our own hands. Scene opens in a typical office setting. Our protagonist, whom we'll call Sam, is found sitting at his desk, surrounded by mountains of paperwork and the soft, monotonous tapping of keyboards. Suddenly, his boss, Mr. Grumperton, enters the fray, a frown etched upon his face like a permanent fixture. Mr. Grumperton, with a theatrical scowl. Sam, your latest report reads like a comedy of errors. It's more twisted than the labyrinth of Crete. The camera close-ups on Sam, who takes a deep breath and channels his inner Epictetus, readying himself with a stoic charm. Sam, calmly, with a humorous twinkle in his eye. Ah, Mr. Grumperton, I see you've mistaken my report for a Greek tragedy. Allow me to don my stoic toga and navigate this labyrinth with reason as my thread. Mr. Grumperton snorts dismissively as Sam rises from his desk, a comically oversized scroll of stoic strategies in hand. Sam, unrolling the scroll with flourish. Criticism, dear sir, is but an opinion laced with emotion. As our friend Marcus Aurelius would say, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Mr. Grumperton, caught off guard, raises an eyebrow, intrigued by Sam's uncharacteristic response. Sam seizes the moment to elaborate. Sam, gesturing theatrically, therefore, I shall dissect this feedback as a philosopher might, extracting the wisdom within and discarding the rest, like last season's Chiton. The camera zooms out as Sam, with a dramatic pause, takes a moment to dissect the critique, mimicking a surgeon in a playfully exaggerated operation. Sam, nodding thoughtfully, beneath the layers of your critique, I find valuable insights shrouded in the colorful wrappings of your discontent. Mr. Grumperton, now fully engaged and slightly amused by Sam's performance, leans in closer. Sam, with an air of comic revelation, and lo, I shall embrace these insights with the warmth of a Stoic embrace and improve my work, all the while maintaining the equanimity of Socrates sipping his hemlock. Mr. Grumperton chuckles, his frown softening into a reluctant smile. Sam, encouraged by this change of heart, presses on with a touch of comedic timing. Sam, offering a handshake. Shall we then, like Zeno and Cleanthes, engage in constructive dialectic to refine this report into the philosopher's stone? Metaphorically speaking, of course. Mr. Grumperton, now fully aboard the Stoic ship, shakes Sam's hand firmly. Mr. Grumperton, with a smirk. Very well, Sam, the Stoic. Let us reason together and forge this report anew. But spare me the hemlock. I prefer a strong cup of coffee. Both characters exit the scene, engaging in thoughtful conversation, leaving behind the transformed office atmosphere, now filled with a few scattered chuckles and curious glances. Narrator, voiceover, with a hint of irony. And thus, dear viewers, through the ancient art of Stoicism, Sam turned the tide of criticism using wit and wisdom. For as the Stoics teach us, when met with adversity, one can choose to either react with distress or respond with virtue and a bit of humor. Cut to Sam and Mr. Grumperton returning, each with a coffee in hand, a newfound mutual respect evident in their camaraderie. Sam winks at the camera. Sam, remember, my fellow office gladiators, in the arena of feedback, arm yourself with the shield of humor, the sword of wisdom, and the olive branch of collaboration. The scene fades to black, but Sam's voice lingers, imparting a final Stoic lesson laced with lightheartedness. Sam. Voice over. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll tackle the Stoic art of navigating office politics, a thrilling odyssey on the high seas of cubicles and coffee machines. Final graphic appears on screen, depicting a Stoic warrior calmly navigating a paper boat amidst a sea of paperwork, setting the stage for more comedic yet insightful Stoic adventures to come. Scene opens in a cozy, warmly lit studio reminiscent of a philosopher's study, complete with rows of books and a comfortable armchair. Our host, Stella, sits poised with an advice column newspaper in hand, a kindly smile on her face. She's the embodiment of Stoic wisdom, with a playful edge. Stella, addressing the camera with a twinkle in her eye. Welcome to Stoic Hearts, the column where love meets philosophy and Cupid reads Seneca. I'm Stella, your guide to navigating the complexities of relationships with a Stoic compass. A heart-shaped graphic appears on screen with the words Stoic Hearts inscribed in elegant script, and below it, love advice for the modern Marcus and Marcia. Stella, gesturing to the graphic. Today we dive into your letters, seeking the sage advice of the ancients on matters of the heart. Let's see what amorous dilemma awaits us. She opens the newspaper to reveal a section titled, Dear Stella, where readers have submitted their love quandaries. With a dramatic flourish, she selects a letter. Stella, reading with a mock serious tone. Dear Stella, my partner and I are in constant disagreement over dinner plans. I prefer simple fare, while they desire extravagant feasts. How can I bring harmony to our table? Stella lowers the paper, pondering the question with a thoughtful yet playful air. Stella. The classic conflict between Epicurean appetites and Stoic simplicity. Fear not, for the solution lies in the virtue of temperance and the art of compromise. She reaches for an oversized cartoonish balance scale, placing a tofu block on one side and a gilded lobster on the other, causing the scale to tip dramatically. Stella, with a chuckle. In the Stoic kitchen, balance is key. Perhaps designate days for indulgence, feast Fridays if you will, and others for wholesome sustenance, say Temperance Tuesdays. By honoring each other's culinary desires, you create a menu of mutual satisfaction. The camera zooms in as Stella's expression shifts to one of conspiratorial mirth. Stella, leaning forward. And remember, the path to a person's stoic heart is through their stomach, but only in moderation. She places a hand on her heart, her face beaming with warmth and humor. Stella, moving on to the next letter. Dear Stella, my significant other has a penchant for drama, while I strive for stoic tranquility. How can we bridge this emotional divide? Stella raises her eyebrows in mock consternation, then retrieves a small bust of Epictetus from a shelf behind her. Stella, addressing the bust, with affectionate jest, Epictetus, old friend, guide our troubled lover. For as you taught us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. She places the bust on the desk and looks back to the camera, her demeanor shifting to one of compassionate counsel. Stella, to the drama. Weary stoic, extend a branch of empathy to your partner. Their theatrical spirit may simply be a way of expressing the depth of their feelings. Engage in open dialogue, where you can calmly express your need for serenity and they can share their need for expression. Together you may find a middle ground, perhaps an occasional one, act play rather than a full-blown Broadway spectacle. Stella gestures like a director framing a scene, her playful advice painting a picture of compromise. Stella, wrapping up the segment. As we close this chapter of Stoic Hearts, let's reflect on the Stoic notion that relationships, much like the cosmos, are a harmonious blend of contrasting elements. Whether you're paired with a Dionysian delight or a Stoic sage, love's true joy is found in understanding, accepting, and gently guiding each other towards the center of your shared path. She folds the advice column, setting it aside, and stands to bid farewell to the audience. Stella, with a heartwarming smile, join us next time as we tackle the Stoic conundrum of giving, how to be magnanimous without magnifying materialism. Until then, may your hearts be wise, your spirits light, and your relationships a testament to the timeless dance of love and philosophy. The scene fades to the soothing strum of the lute, leaving the viewers with a sense of comfort, laughter, and a dash of Stoic insight, primed for the joys and jests of romantic companionship, Stoic style. Scene transitions to a sunlit atrium adorned with verdant plants and statues of famed Stoic philosophers. At the center stands our enthusiastic host, Theo, wielding a playful yet wise demeanor. He's surrounded by an eager audience, each participant holding a small, peculiar object, ranging from a rubber chicken to a mock scepter. Theo, beaming with excitement. Greetings, fellow aspirants of virtue. Welcome to the Stoic Gymnasium, where we flex our philosophical muscles and exercise our capacity for resilience. Today, we delve into the practice of negative visualization, a mental workout that can fortify your spirit and tickle your funny bone. Audience members chuckle, examining their odd props with curiosity. Theo. Now, for those of you new to this Stoic technique, negative visualization involves imagining the loss of things we value to appreciate them more deeply. So, pick up your trinkets and hold them tight. The camera captures audience members clutching their props with exaggerated affection, eyebrows raised in comedic anticipation. Theo, with a dramatic pause. Now, close your eyes and envision a world without your precious rubber chicken. The silence is deafening. No squeaks or squawks to lighten the mood. How does it feel? Audience members play along, some miming tears, others pretending to search desperately for their missing chickens. Theo, with a chuckle, open your eyes and rejoice. Behold, your cherished chicken has returned. Let the gratitude flow and embrace the joy of the squeak. Laughter and the sound of squeaking rubber chickens fill the atrium as participants celebrate their reunited props. Theo, excellent. You've just experienced a taste of negative visualization. But now, let's elevate the stakes. Imagine, if you will, your life without the fundamental Stoic virtues. No wisdom to guide you, no courage to bolster you, no justice to ground you, and no temperance to temper you. The audience reacts with mock horror, some pretending to stumble blindly or quiver with folks' fear. Theo, guiding them back. Now, return to the Stoic path, virtues intact, and recognize the richness they bring to every moment. Feel the strength they offer as you navigate the unpredictable currents of Fortuna's wheel. Audience members sigh with relief, straightening their postures and adopting the dignified stance of Stoic statues. Theo, encouraging audience participation. And now, it's your turn to step into the role of the Stoic sage. Take the stage, share your experience, and let us revel in the light-hearted wisdom of our practice. One by one, audience members approach the front, each sharing a playful account of their negative visualization journey, eliciting waves of laughter and bursts of applause. Theo, clapping alongside the audience. Bravo, my Stoic comrades. You've mastered the art of appreciating life's quirks and embracing its uncertainties. Remember, in the grand theater of the cosmos, it's our response to the script, not the script itself, that shapes our character. The camera pans out to show the entire atrium alive with energy, a community united by the playful spirit of Stoic exercise. Theo, with a final heartfelt gesture. So, as we conclude our session at the Stoic Gymnasium, carry with you the resilience you've built here today. Tuck it into your toga or your pocket, and let it be a beacon of mirthful wisdom in the face of life's delightful absurdities. The scene fades out, with the sound of rubber chickens, laughter, and the melodic lute playing a whimsical tune, setting the stage for future gatherings where Stoicism meets joyous exercise and contemplation meets community. Stay tuned, for our next Stoic exercise will challenge us to declutter not just our spaces, but our minds, with the joyful wisdom of voluntary discomfort. Join us as we uncover the liberating power of saying no to excess and yes to contentment. Scene opens in a dimly lit attic, cobwebs strewn across the wooden beams, and an ominous breeze whispers through the cracks. Our protagonist, Cassie, clutches a flashlight, her eyes wide with fear as she steps gingerly among old boxes and mysterious antiques. Suspenseful music heightens the tension. Cassie, voice trembling slightly. Why did I think exploring the attic at night was a good idea? Haunted houses in movies always have creepy attics. Suddenly, the flashlight flickers. Cassie gasps, but then steadies herself with a deep breath, taking on a comically stoic stance. Cassie, channeling Seneca with mock solemnity. As Seneca would say, we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. So, let's confront these spectral fears with stoic clarity, a disembodied voice whispers. Eerily, sending a shiver down Cassie's spine, she whirls around to face a ghostly figure draped in sheets. Our playful poltergeist, Phasma. Phasma, in a spooky but somehow friendly tone. Kayasi, are you afraid of the unknown? Cassie, squaring her shoulders. Phasma, my ethereal friend, fear of the unknown is natural, but the Stoics teach us the power of rational thought. And rationally, I know you're just my cousin Larry draped in a bedsheet. Phasma. But how did you overcome your fear so easily, Cassie, with a confident chuckle? It's all about perception, Larry. Instead of viewing the shadowy attic as a scene from a horror flick, I see it as a stoic test of courage. Every creak and groan is an invitation to practice equanimity. The attic transforms, the lighting softens, and the sinister ambiance is replaced by an air of whimsy. Cassie turns to the camera, a prop spider dangling from her hand. Cassie, addressing the audience with humorous wisdom. Dear viewers, when life presents you with your own personal horror movie, remember that fear is like this fake spider, intimidating at first glance, but ultimately harmless when observed with the light of reason. Larry nods, joining in the fun, now holding a rubber bat on a string. Larry, in a philosopher's tone. Indeed, Cassie, and by confronting our fears directly, we strip them of their power. Epictetus wouldn't run from this harmless bat. He'd probably use it to teach a lesson on the folly of fear. Cassie and Larry laugh, playfully batting the rubber creature back and forth. Now relaxed, they sit among the attic treasures on an old trunk. Cassie, gesturing to the attic's hidden gems. Look at all these forgotten relics, Larry. Instead of a chamber of terror, it's a treasure trove of memories. I can almost hear Marcus Aurelius reminding us that our life is what our thoughts make it. Larry, inspired by Cassie's stoic courage, flips through an old photo album, finding humor in their ancestors' outdated fashion. Larry, and he is proof that time changes all things. That's one less thing to fear. No one will remember my bad haircuts in 100 years. The two share a heartfelt chuckle, the attic now aglow with nostalgia rather than fear. Cassie stands and dusts off her hands, looking into the camera with a final note of stoic advice. Cassie, smiling warmly. So as we bid adieu to our attic escapade, remember that fear is like a ghost. Power fades when faced with the daylight of discernment. Embrace the stoic spirit, and you too can transform your frights into flights of philosophical fancy. As the scene fades out, Cassie and Larry exit the attic, the door closing behind them with a gentle click rather than a menacing creak. Upbeat music plays as a voice oversets the stage for the next exciting stoic adventure. Voice over with an encouraging tone. Stay with us, brave souls, for our upcoming segment, The Stoic's Guide to Thriving in Thunder Showers, where we'll don our stoic raincoats and splash merrily through life's puddles with Epictetus's umbrella of resilience. Until next time, may your fears be few and your courage plentiful. Scene opens in a bright, high-energy gym, complete with over-the-top neon signs that read Stoic strength and virtue for victory. Our host, a muscular figure with an exaggeratedly serene expression, is dressed in traditional gym attire adorned with Stoic quotes. He's Fleximus, the Stoic fitness coach. Fleximus, pumping a pair of dumbbells with a flourish. Salutations, seekers of fortitude. Welcome to Resilience Reps, where we sculpt not just our bodies, but our willpower. I'm your Stoic spotter, Fleximus, ready to guide you through the most intense mental workout of your life. Upbeat music pulses in the background as Fleximus sets down the weights and addresses the camera with a playful intensity. Fleximus, prepare yourselves for a regimen that Seneca himself would sweat over. Today, we're fortifying our inner citadel, one stoic squat at a time. He gestures to a lineup of gym-goers, each facing their own comical, non-physical challenge. A staring contest with a bust of Cato, balancing a book of meditations on their head, and so on. Fleximus, clapping his hands. Let's warm up with some cognitive calisthenics. I want you to envision every difficulty life can hurl at you. Traffic jams, spilled coffee, unannounced visits from your in-laws. Now mentally flex and transform those troubles into triumphs of tolerance. The camera zooms in on participants' faces, some wincing with mock effort, others grinning as they overcome their imagined scenarios. Fleximus, shouting encouragement. You've got this. Remember, it's not the weights of the world that build resilience. It's the lifting of your perspective. Up with positivity, down with distress. He transitions into a set of burpees, each jump accompanied by a stoic affirmation. Fleximus. With every leap, we rise above pettiness. With every drop, we ground ourselves in virtue. Epictetus's elevation, Aurelius's ascent. The participants follow suit, their jumps synchronized with Fleximus's booming commands, each repetition an over-the-top ode to stoic endurance. He moves to a punching bag of perceptions, where each strike represents the dismissal of a negative thought. Fleximus. Jab away jealousy, hook out hostility, uppercut uncertainty, and don't forget to dodge despair. The camera captures a slow-motion shot of Fleximus expertly punching away ethereal enemies, sweat glistening on his brow, a profound expression of Zen-like focus on his face. Fleximus, breathing heavily but with comedic gravitas. All right, athletes of the soul, it's time for our cool-down. Gather round for the circle of contemplation. Participants form a circle, each taking a deep breath, and striking a melodramatically meditative pose, fleximus, in a soothing tone. Inhale the rich oxygen of opportunity. Exhale the carbon dioxide of calamities. Let the stillness of your mind be the ultimate weight lifted today. For in this gym, we build more than brawn. We build unbreakable spirits. The camera pans out to reveal the entire gym in tranquil meditation and oasis of calm amid a storm of exertion. Fleximus gives a thumbs up to the camera. Fleximus, whispering, "Congratulations, you've powered through." Resilience reps with the stamina of Socrates. May your newfound mental and emotional strength carry you through life's marathon with ease and grace. The scene fades to a graphic of a Stoic laurel wreath encircling a flexing arm, the motto mens sana and corpore sano emblazoned below. Fleximus, voiceover invigorated. Tune in next. Time for abs of acceptance, where we'll crunch our way to inner peace and rip through the resistance of resentment. Until then, stay stoic, stay strong, and remember, true resilience is but a workout away. The upbeat music reaches a crescendo as the screen transitions to the next segment, leaving the audience energized and ready to tackle life's gymnasium with a blend of humor, heart, and Herculean stoicism. Scene shifts to a somber yet composed newsroom. The backdrop emblazoned with the title Stoicism in Times of Crisis. Our anchor, Clarissa, sits behind the desk, her demeanor serene yet authoritative. She faces the camera, ready to deliver today's special report with gravitas and a hint of Stoic wisdom. Clarissa, with a slight nod to acknowledge the gravitas of the subject. Good evening. In light of recent events, our community, our nation, and indeed our world find themselves facing unprecedented challenges. From economic instability to natural disasters, it seems as though the threads of fortune's tapestry have entangled us in a relentless grip. A somber melody underscores the weight of her words as images flash on the screen behind her. Footage of bustling hospitals, turbulent markets, and ravaged landscapes. Clarissa, continuing, her tone a beacon of calm amidst the storm. But as we traverse this turbulent sea of uncertainty, we turn to the age-old philosophy of Stoicism, a beacon that has guided humanity through dark times since ancient Greece and Rome. Tonight, we spotlight individuals and communities embodying this Stoic resilience. The screen splits to show a series of vignettes: a firefighter calmly navigating a blaze, a teacher soothing her worried students via video chat, and a group of neighbors sharing supplies. Clarissa, voice over. As the vignettes play, here we see courage in action, the Stoic virtue that compels us to face adversity, not with fear, but with fortitude. These are the unsung heroes who, like the Stoics of old, understand that while we cannot control the flames or the fears, we can control the strength of our response. The music swells slightly, a hopeful chord progression underscoring the uplifting turn of the narrative. Clarissa, looking directly into the camera, her voice infused with inspiration. And in this hour, it is not only the courage that shines through. Justice, another Stoic pillar, is equally manifest. Across the globe, individuals are choosing to wear masks not solely for personal protection, but out of a sense of duty to the greater good, to the vulnerable among us. A graphic appears next to Clarissa, displaying the 4 Stoic virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. In a stable, interlocking pattern, Clarissa, gesturing to the graphic. It is here where we witness wisdom at work, as leaders and citizens alike make difficult decisions, informed by expertise and compassed by consequences, weighing the impact of every action with measured temperance. The vignettes transition to show community leaders in discussion, healthcare workers administering aid, and families uniting via technology, each scene a testament to Stoic virtues in practice. Clarissa, with a concluding affirmation: as we navigate these trying times together, let the Stoic principles guide us toward a future framed by these virtuous responses. For as Marcus Aurelius once penned, out of adversity comes opportunity. The music fades, and Clarissa folds her hands on the desk, offering a final word of Stoic encouragement. Clarissa, Join us as we continue to report on these stories of Stoic resolve, reminding us all that, though we may be tested, we have within us the strength to persevere, the wisdom to adapt, and the unity to emerge ever more resilient. This has been Stoicism in times of crisis. Good night, and stay steadfast. The camera slowly zooms out from Clarissa, the screen transitioning to the program's logo, which overlays a Stoic phoenix rising, symbolizing the rebirth of hope and the undying spirit of resilience. Voice over, soothing yet empowering. In our next segment, The Stoic's Compass in the Modern World, we explore the application of Stoic philosophy in shaping compassionate leadership and fostering global solidarity. Stay with us as we draw from the wellspring of ancient wisdom to quench the thirst for understanding in our contemporary quest for peace and stability. Screen fades to black, leaving the audience with a sense of sober reflection, uplifted by the tenets of Stoicism and eager for the guiding light of the next report. Clarissa reappears on the screen with a slight, knowing smile. She adjusts her papers, preparing to conclude the segment. Clarissa, as we look to close tonight's broadcast, let us not forget the journey we've traversed together. From the harrowing halls of a haunted attic, where fears were vanquished with a smile and a quip, to the disciplined decorum of the Stoic gymnasium, where we learned that the heaviest weights we lift are not made of iron, but of will and determination. She gives a slight chuckle, reflecting on the whimsical highlights of the program. Clarissa, we've seen the Stoic spirit take form in the most unexpected of venues, a culinary show where temperance was served with a side of moderation, and a love advice column where Cupid met Seneca, and they had a philosophical heart-to-heart. A brief montage flashes on the screen, the comedic highlights, the rubber chickens, and the philosophical punchlines, all underscoring the blend of humor and depth inherent in Stoicism. Clarissa, with a twinkle in her eye, through it all, what have we gleaned, dear viewers? That the essence of Stoicism, its wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, can be as much a source of laughter as it is of strength. For in the tapestry of life, it is our perspective that colors the threads, and our actions that weave the pattern. She stands, the newsroom backdrop fading into a more casual, intimate setting, a nod to the personal connection she's fostered with the audience. Clarissa, so, as we part ways this evening, I leave you with a Stoic call to action. Find the joy in your trials as well as your triumphs. Seek out the virtue in the mundane, and when faced with the storms of life, remember to dance in the rain, perhaps with the grace of a philosopher and the mirth of a child splashing in the puddles. A final graphic pops up next to Clarissa, a stoically smiling emoji holding an umbrella in one hand and a rubber chicken in the other. Clarissa, embrace your inner Stoic sage, be it in the gym, the office, or your very own kitchen, and may your days be filled with the wisdom of Aurelius, the courage of Seneca, and the laughter of a life well lived. She gives a warm, heartfelt nod. Clarissa, good night, dear Stoics. Until we meet again, may your path be enlightened, your burdens light, and your spirit ever ready to turn obstacles into opportunities for growth and giggles. Farewell. The screen gently fades to the program's end slate, complete with the Stoic phoenix emblem, signaling the audience to carry forth the wisdom and humor into their daily endeavors. Voice over, gentle and inviting. Thank you for joining us on Stoicism in times of crisis. Keep tuning in for your regular dose of ancient wisdom applied to modern times. And remember, the Stoic journey is just one chuckle away.